We can only wait and see when the next attack is going to come, because they are not working well together. However, they do have 15 seconds on Skjelmose, and that's increasing to 16. A further 40 seconds to Esteban Chavez, who, as we mentioned, has left Lucas Liroka behind down the road. Now it's Mas that just settles back into a tempo. 13 seconds to Skjelmose. Chavez riding well. Looks like he's getting closer to Skjelmose as we pass 3 kilometers to go. Liroka continues to work away. And this is Jonathan Caicedo, formerly in the Pinker VF, now riding for the Team Petrol-like team. That's just taking a look behind. And now Berwick starting to struggle. You feel like the remonstrations were out of fatigue more than race strategy, perhaps. He's done magnificently well to stick with these World Tour pros. He's not quite out of it yet. But Mas just continues to drive on in that style. And now he's getting Rodriguez perhaps to pull through.
Here's Berwick struggling, but already a great ride, and if he can just hold on to that third place and get himself on the podium, it's a big step for him. And with such a great quality start list at the top of this with those 4 World Tour teams, to be able to get on that podium will be a huge result for him and Caio Real.
Rodriguez now. Earpiece out, riding on instinct. 20 seconds. I feel like that gap isn't quite 20 seconds to Skjelmose. He continues to ride his own pace. Coming towards the top of the climb. Pitches of 11%. Still plenty of springboards and opportunities to attack as the sun just starts to shine. Beautiful views across the Pyrenees. Chavez still battling away. Around a 45-second deficit. Doesn't look like much on a climb like this at 8%. Showing signs of his best, Esteban Chavez, which is nice to see. His Skjelmose has played an absolute blinder here, rolling his way back up to the front trio. Completely seated effort. And sometimes you just have to find your own way of climbing, your own way of trying to win. And by doing so, Skjelmose is not out of this just yet.
He's not. Just keeping his own pace, not going too much into the red and putting himself back into contention. And if he can just hold these wheels now and avoid those other riders attacking, it does flatten off in the final couple of 100 meters. And we know what sprint he does have from that win that he had. So yeah, I think just maintaining his pace and not going into the reds really left him that opportunity to get back in here. And now with 4 riders, it makes it even more complicated with only 3 spots on the podium left.
Liroka a little bit further back. He's just starting to come back towards the wheel of Esteban Chavez, and Chavez himself is coming back towards the front of the race. It's not inconceivable that he can make it back with 2 kilometers still to go. It's Seb Berwick, the only Pro Conti rider in this front group, alongside Christian Rodriguez, the French outfit, Arkea B&B Hotels, Enric Mas, perennial Grand Tour giant, and Matthias Skjelmose. We questioned where his form was going to be at after an early summer plagued by sickness. And now Chavez looks like he's coming back to this group at the front. Still, they continue to look around. Do you think there's space for an attack here? One decisive move that's going to break the wills of everyone else? Or is this going to last all the way to the line?
I think we can just see this pace from Seb Berwick. He's trying to put the pressure on definitely Chavez to keep him back. We can see now Lucas Naruka coming back as well. But yeah, Berwick likely just trying to trim this back down to those three riders, and he'll really be wanting that podium spot. But Enric Mas, I do believe, will have an attack in him in that final kilometre or so, looking the strongest of these riders at the moment.
1.6 kilometres remains in this curtailed inaugural edition of the Andorra MoraBanc Clàssica. And it's the headline favourites at the front of the race. Enric Mas, Christian Rodriguez and Matthias Skjelmose, accompanied by the wildcard Seb Berwick, talented young climber from Australia. And they're about to be joined by Esteban Chavez, the 35-year-old Colombian. We thought his best days were behind him, the Lombardia champ. But he is not done yet. He's almost onto the wheel of Matthias Skjelmose now. Mas just picks up the pace, taking the opportunity to grimace, and no one else can see his face. 1.3 to go. We wait, we watch. Is there going to be an attack that's going to seal the fate of these riders? And regardless of what happens here, Berwick certainly opened the eyes of potential suitors for him next year. He had a reasonable Route d'Occitanie. Perhaps he had something in the tank, something planned for this race in particular. As they approach 1 kilometre to go, Berwick just up and out of the saddle. Looked like he might have had an attack there. Just back down into the saddle now. We continue to wait, we continue to watch. Where's Naruka? Is he coming back into the fold? Just a little bit off the back at the moment, still ploughing away. That's it for now. Looks like the win's going to come from these 5 riders, in all likelihood. Question is, who's got the best snap at the end of a summit finish? And indeed, a brutal day in the saddle, all in all. Here goes Chavez. First bullet for Chavez, and he's got a little bit of distance on Enric Mas. Now it's down to Mas to try and close the gap. Chavez takes a look round. Berwick's just starting to lose ground now. It all folds back towards together. Berwick just has to keep riding. He might still be able to factor into this finale.
We saw Berwick try and attack moments before, but it was almost shut down by Formula Enric Mas, moving left on the road, and he lost that card and could have been that rider that could get that jump and leave the others looking, as Chavez makes another acceleration now. But Enric Mas knows that he can't give him any space, and potentially the rider with the best legs, just making sure that he is on every attack.
500 metres and Esteban Chavez back up and out of the saddle. Skjelmose, you just feel Amstel Gold in spring. That incredible sprint that saw him take that victory. Can he replicate something here, albeit at the top of the mountain? Col de la Bartella, 400 metres to go. You just feel it's going to be one move that's going to make it. And Seb Berwick continues to work away. I think he's almost back onto the group here. The plucky Australian is not done yet. Question is, how much has he got in the tank with 300 metres to go? The weather has played its part, but we've got good conditions here at the top of the Col de la Bartella. Here comes the move from Matthias Skjelmose. He's ridden his own tempo up until this point, but now it's Skjelmose with 200 metres to go, trailed by Enric Mas and Christian Rodriguez. Skjelmose still at the front. He's going to take this now. Matthias Skjelmose crosses up And this is a return to form ahead of the Tour de France for the young Dane. A spring blighted by illness and injury. And now, ahead of his biggest appointment, he takes the victory. Magnificent win from Matthias Skjelmose. He rode his own tempo most of the way up that climb. And he's got his reward. This is Lucas Nerurka just finishing in 6th place.
We could just see him. We struggled earlier in that climb after he made the initial attack, and just losing the wheel midway up that climb and just clawing his way back, not going into the red. And he knows how strong he is in that sprint from obviously that win that he had in Amstel Gold Race, and just really believing in that. And there just wasn't any answer from Enric Mas in the end of that sprint. So a really strong result and a nice win for him after obviously the crash that he had in Flèche Wallonne and then the stomach bug that he's carried the last few weeks.
It's been an emotional 2025 for Matthias Skjelmose as his teammate Julien Bernard crosses the line. And he'll go into the Tour de France in 2 weeks' time with plenty of confidence. Julien Bernard in 11th. Tom Pidcock in 10th. This is Fernando Barcelo in 12th place. And this was the move. Beautifully timed. He knew exactly what he had left and was able to hold that acceleration and keep Enric Mas and Christian Rodriguez at bay.
Just see the way that the road did sweep around to the right. He was looking to get in position quite early, and Mas just trying to block him off slightly, knowing that that inside line is where they wanted to be. But yeah, an early sprint and something that does suit Skjelmose as well, and using that to his advantage.
Spaniard Rodriguez, runner-up himself, will have come away from this week perhaps a little disappointed with 2nd place, but overall a good showing from him. And we know Enric Mas, the Tour de France beckoning, and indeed the Spanish National Championships as well, also in good nick. Good 4th place from Esteban Chavez. Seb Berwick as well.